Hello everyone, my name is Ethan and welcome to Casual Eats, a channel dedicated to quick weeknight meals and building confidence in the kitchen together. Today we'll be making chicken and rice. This dish was a staple in my family growing up and was always one of my favorites. So I took my mom's old recipe and modified it just a little bit to amp up the flavor. And I really think it's fitting that this was the only video I managed to film while we lived with them for a month. So without further ado, let's get started. The recipe is in the description below, now on to the ingredients. For this meal you'll need the following: olive oil, white rice, onion, chicken broth, cream of mushroom soup, salt, black pepper, chicken thighs, butter, thyme, and garlic. To start, be sure to fumble around with your mom's new oven, since you can't seem to find any of the buttons, and set it to 350 degrees. We'll then go ahead and chop up one large yellow onion. Now, my wife and I like larger chunks of onion, so I went with a really rough chop here, but if you like smaller chunks, feel free to fine dice your onion. We'll now make the butter, thyme, garlic mixture that goes on the chicken. Start by melting about 2 tablespoons of butter, then crush 1 clove of garlic into that butter, then add about 2 teaspoons of thyme, and I made a mess, sorry mom. With that all cleaned up, we'll stir up the mixture and then set that to one side. Now we'll wash our rice, and normally I use a fine mesh sieve, but my parents didn't seem to have one, so I just had to make do with this really old flour sifter. It worked though. It's now time to assemble our concoction. Start by adding a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil to the pan, and then spread that around with a paper towel. Cooking spray would also work well for this. Then add the rice, the onions, 2 cups of chicken broth, and the soups to the pan. And that soup is really fighting me. Oh, there we go. I grabbed a utensil and actually got it out of there. And then we'll just go ahead and stir this all up, make sure everything's nice and well combined. And of course, you want to be sure to spill some on the range. It really does add to the flavor. And now we'll add our chicken thighs to the top of our soupy rice chicken broth mixture. And then just brush the top of those chicken thighs with the butter, garlic, thyme mixture. And finally we'll add some salt and freshly cracked black pepper to the top of all of this before we seal it up with a bit of aluminum foil. And now is the time that we throw this bad mamma jamma into our preheated 350 degree oven. And then we'll go ahead and set our timer for 1 hour. And now we wait. And now with the power of movie magic and editing software, that hour is up. So we'll go ahead and very timidly remove the aluminum foil with a weird little pot holder before realizing that it's actually not all that hot and just pulling it off with our fingers. And then back in the oven it goes for about 20 minutes. I know in this video my timer says 30 minutes, but this is one of those cases of do as I say, not as I do. And again, with the power of movie magic, that time is up. So we'll now go ahead and take the chicken and rice and move it up to the top rack here, and set our broiler to high and let it broil for about 3 to 5 minutes just to get some good color on our chicken. And now that that time is up, we'll go ahead and pull this concoction out of the oven and we can move on to plating. Now with this all said and done, I've got to say the rice was a little bit dry, which is why I say you should bake it for 20 minutes instead of the 30 minutes that I did when I was cooking this. And of course I could make up some excuse like, oh, it's an oven I've never used before, blah, 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 but no, I just kind of screwed up. But luckily it was very easy to fix by just adding another splash or 2 of our chicken broth, and the rice really just soaked that up and brought the rice back to life. And I've got to say, eating this dish in my mom's house really brought back some memories of my childhood. It was nice. Now, I know this meal does take quite a lot longer to make compared to what I usually post, but it's mostly an active time, and the end result is truly worth the wait. And with that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching, and I truly do urge you to make this meal and let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And while you're there, please leave a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't done so already. But until the next weeknight meal, I'm Ethan with Casual Eats, and be sure to keep on cooking.